For the first time in a long time, we're gonna be working on the Miata. So my friend Emilio with the camo Miata, in the previous video, you might have seen him, there's a short little clip of him. He bought the side skirts off of me. I actually hate these side skirts, every Miata has them. I hate this lip, every Miata has it. Brendan just showed up on his ZX1 Z20, I don't know, whatever the hell that is, not a Grom. Anyways, I'm gonna be taking off these side skirts. I'm gonna build new ones, take off this lip, build a new one. But for right now, I don't have any metal or supplies to actually build them. I'm just gonna build them out of cardboard, see how much of what I need, and then I'll go on and in a later video, we'll actually make them and attach them. I've been wanting to do this for a very long time just because it's like the two most basic Miata things on this thing, and figuring this is like one of the craziest Miatas out there, it has to have more things that are different. It'd be funny if I jacked up this side so much that the other tires were actually like on the ground flat. Let me see this. That's probably high enough. I want to see this side. It actually has like more of a contact patch than like 3 inches. And look at how tilted this whole thing is. Shout out Harbor Freight for making the shittiest drill in the world. Look at this. Oh. Of course it won't do it now. It like just sticks. Okay, well now it's not doing it. This should be pretty easy. Done. Brendan actually just asked a really good question, and that's where's Frank? I don't know if you saw his car in the background, but it's kind of all apart. Right now, he's out getting an alternator. I guess the alternator kind of shit out on him, and it was allowing his, or was killing his battery, and then he couldn't start the damn thing. He made it here somehow, and then it just like died, and I don't know. But hopefully it fixes the issue. Anyways, I'm gonna move on. I'm gonna get some cardboard and start mocking up the new side skirts for this thing. And you cut up some cardboard, get it ready, start mocking this up. And just so you know, because the original inspiration for this thing was almost like the Bozo cars, it's gonna have very similar side skirts and lip design as them. It's just going to be a lot smaller than the ones that are going to be on something like this. These side skirts are probably only going to be about 4 to 5 inches long or wide, and then, you know, the whole length of the car. And then the front, the lip is going to be almost kind of like a bozo lip, just probably not much longer than that one. And then they're probably going to be almost entirely made out of steel, all kind of like tack welded and then weathered just like the rest of the body of the car. I feel like it would be cool, and it'll match. Alright, so I have 2 different ideas for these side skirts. They're both essentially the same. It's just one is a little bit different and they end towards the rear of the tire. So I'm going to go ahead and draw up both of them, and then I'll mock up both of them, and then I'm going to let you guys decide what I'm going to end up doing, or maybe I'll just kind of decide on my own depending on how they look. I'm going to draw it out right now, show you guys, and then mock them up. That's it. Alright, so super basic drawing, but now you understand. Basically this, so it's gonna come out from there, diagonal, come across here, same width all the way across there, and then it's gonna be diagonal at the end there. Or we'll do this second one where it gets thicker at the end, where it does the same exact thing as the other one in the front until probably around here. I'll probably do it here, where it'll get a little bit like thicker, where I'll like bump it out a little bit. Just because of the width of the rear wheel is so much more than the front, it would kind of flow, I guess. I don't know. So I'm gonna build out this first one, mock it up, and then I'll add that little piece at the end, and then I'll let you guys decide. This is kind of what I'm talking about for the first design. The rear here isn't cut exactly how I want it yet. I was just kind of mocking it up a little bit. And then we got this thing holding it up there. And obviously I don't want it like scraping the ground constantly. So it will be lifted up off of there. I did want to mount it up here, but I didn't realize that this curves out and that curves out, so I'd have to have some kind of like a, you know, radius to the side skirt. That would just make it a whole lot more complicated than it really needs to be. So I figured we'll just do it on the pinch weld, or we'll go in there and it'll be perfectly fine. And then that way, since this will be metal, I'll probably just end up welding it to this, and I could just weld all up in there. And if it looks shitty, people probably won't see it quite as much as if it was up here. I'm not quite sure what I think of it yet. I'm gonna make that last cut on the end there and then do that second little piece. I didn't expect it to be quite this long either, but I think that because it's going up in that pinch weld that it might have to be pretty long. But I'm gonna do that last little piece and maybe think about it a little bit, see if this is really what I wanna do. Definitely looks a little weird while it's on the ground, but like I said, I plan to have it up quite a bit just because it's not going to be just a piece of metal. I'm actually going to make it so that there's square tubing on the edges, so it looks like it's a lot thicker than it really is. So it's probably going to be about 1 inch off the ground, and then with that on top of it, so it's going to be probably a good maybe like 2 inches higher than it is on the edge. I'm not sure how I feel about this. I don't know if we need to do less of an angle, but no matter what I do here, I think I'd like to do it up here as well. So maybe if we do less of an angle there, I'd want to do less of an angle there, just so that way it matches. It'd be something more like that. The rear is hanging a little bit, but I know that as soon as I raise the car and try and take off that rear wheel, it will hit that. So definitely going to be an inconvenience. So I think if we're going to go with this design, we're going to have to go with a less drastic angle on the ends. So I'm going to make that little end piece, see if I like it. If not, then I'll remake this with less of an angle, see how I like it, and then I'll know how much material I need. Okay, so I have this very poorly mocked up, but it's good enough for me to be able to see if I want it or not. So I have this little wing piece. That would basically be an entirely single piece. This angle would be the same angle as that angle, and would be the same as that one. I don't know if I like this as much. I think this is what I'm gonna go with. It's just more of the style that I'm looking for, and I think it'll match the lip more. That little piece at the end, I think it'll just look way too fat and stick out way too far, and then because of the angle, it'll be way too low, and I don't know, I think it'll just get in the way. Anyways, as you could probably hear, we finally got Frank's car running. It was probably just an alternator. I don't know why it kind of just shit out on him, but this is good. So far, it seems to be okay. We have the body kit on. He's got the bumper from the other car. He had his wing on there. Side skirts, bumper. Starting to look really good. We got our hood pins in. After having the hood flip up on us a couple of times, I think we learned our lesson. Finally put those things in. You can see some like graffiti work on the side, obviously. Because he's about to paint this thing in the next few days, he's kind of just been screwing around, but it's definitely getting there. Coming along. You gonna drive it? Yeah. We're gonna go for a ride. He doesn't have a phone, or it's dead or whatever, I don't know. So this way we can actually call for help. Now that that's done, I'm gonna go ahead and cut out another one of those side skirts. Like I said, less drastic angle, see how I like it. I'm probably gonna end up liking it a little bit more. Gonna do that. So that design without the little end piece is almost most definitely gonna be what I end up going with. But you guys can go ahead and voice your opinions in the comments. If anyone wants that lip, 20 bucks, hit me up. It's pretty mint. There's not really anything wrong with it. I have hardware that can come with it if you want it. I'd probably just text screw it up there. But anyways, if you want it, just DM me on Instagram or something. I'm gonna let this thing back down on the ground. Well, anyways, guys, I'm unable to get the front template done tonight. It is getting a little late and I have to be up in Chicago early tomorrow morning. So that's gonna be it for today's video. Hope you enjoyed, and peace out.